Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story that I want to bring to you, and it is about the hacks that they've been talking about. And I want to share them with you. I'm going to preface these as allegedly because we don't know if things have been hacked. We don't really know who hacked what. We just know what they tell us. So, as usual, I will preface this as it's a data point. We can use this information to conspiracy theory our way to truth. I guess that's the best way to say this. Uh, because, things about to get wild. Like, they're already wild. So we just have to use this information in order to prepare. Because I do believe that the powers telegraph before things happen. And so if you're prepared, if you are aware of what's going on, then you can possibly prepare for whatever is coming. So let's get into this story. So it says a U.S. radioactive waste storage facility was one of the targets of the global CLOP hack. The waste isolation pilot plant was one of the two U.S. Department of Energy entities affected, and this story came out this morning on June 16th. U.S. federal government agencies were among the target of the global ransomware hack that targeting file transfer software MoveIt. Progress Software Corp, which made MoveIt, has warned of a third new critical software vulnerability in the software that could give malicious actors take control of an affected system. This doesn't make any sense, but anyway. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security System, CISA, shared on June 15th, which was yesterday. So, it says the U.S. Department of Energy is among those breached in the ongoing global hacking campaign, a department spokesperson confirmed to CNN, saying the department has notified Congress and is working with law enforcement, CISA, and the affected entities to investigate the incident and mitigate impacts from breach. Courts contacted the DOE for comment. So, again, now we getting ready to go completely digital and everything is hackable. I don't care what they say. If there's something made, somebody's always going to try to figure out a workaround. Somebody's always going to be trying to break into it, especially if it's valuable or it can be used as leverage. So, if you have been using anything digital over the past 20 years, if you're in a rewards program, your information been hacked. If you sign up for, discounts from this chain, that chain out, that stuff has been hacked. Your bank account has been hacked. Your debit card or credit cards, they've been, hacked. People have found ways to make chips, duplicate the information, and steal. Um, Even state agencies, local government and state government agencies have been hacked. Hospitals have been hacked. You have people on the inside working to steal your information and selling it. So I don't even understand what the rush is to go digital. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen because it gives us the least amount of power and control that we've ever had. So to say, oh, this is the future. The future is we are always gonna be screwed because anytime somebody gets mad and wants to hack something, they can do it, and it's gonna just be an inconvenience for you. And as you've seen, they try to offer you, oh, we got LifeLock. Well, LifeLock got hacked. We got this new thing, this security key. Oh, that gets hacked. There is nothing that they can't get into because the people that created it always create back doors to get into anything. And the whole purpose of all of this digital stuff is for surveillance. So, this is the future. We've already been living with this. You already see, um, there's nothing that they can't do with this stuff. I personally believe it was made for this very purpose, but we've been conditioned through predictive programming by both sides, all sides. The side that says, "Oh, it's bad, you shouldn't trust it." The side that says, "Oh, it's good, go into it." Businesses, telling you, "Oh, yeah, you need to do this. We're offering this. If you give us your, zip code or email address, we'll give you discounts," because we're always looking for something cheap and free, not understanding that when you're looking for something cheap and free, you're not gonna get what you always go. It's always gonna be worth far less than you initially thought it was. And then we have the government, who has basically been piloting these programs for the last 50 years to get us to this digitalization point where we're ready to go into this beast infrastructure. Everything has been digitalized, and they encouraged it. If you want your benefits, you got to get a card. You got to do this. If you want to access these services, you got to go online. If you want to know about your children's school information, it's in a database. You got to learn how to use the computer and get in there. It's been a gradual, slow walk to where we are now. But now we can't turn back. Um, we could turn back, but we got so many ignorant people among us who don't see the light. You might as well say it's a wrap. But I just don't see um, the purpose of all this digitalization, because you're just going to be getting hacked. So that's why we just have to prepare for a life of being without a lot of stuff and being uncomfortable. This is the season, the preseason gaming for the season of discomfort. That's what I call it. So that's how I prep. I prep for seasons of discomfort or life of discomfort and bug bites and hot and cold. And man, who knows what else? Cooking outside. I don't know. Um, Manual labor, possibly dirty water. I don't know. Just season of discomfort. It's gonna be a lot of work to live like it used to be for our ancestors, but we can do this. Um, it got to be better than living in Babylon. It got to be better than depending on this system. And heaven forbids if they send a bus around and be like, "Get on it." Don't y'all get on that bus. Don't do it. All right, back to the story. The not for profit research institution Oak Ridge Associated Universities and a contractor affiliated with the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant, a radioactive waste storage facility located around Carlsbad, New Mexico, were the two DOE entities that got hacked, according to the Federal News Network. The Transportation Secretary Administration and the Secretary Department reassured both said they were not victims of the hack, CNN reported. So, folks, it's all kinds of just misleading stuff going on here. So, I just, I don't know. Anywho, a notorious clop ransomware gang, Lace Tempest, is allegedly behind the hack, which started around 2 weeks ago, exploiting other weaknesses in the same software and demanded payment from the companies affected in exchange to release their data. In a message posted on their website, the group has promised to delete all government data. So, I've been sharing stories with you for the last couple of weeks. Even this week, they warned of cyber attacks, infrastructure, cyber attacks specifically. And then here we are getting notifications now that they have been being hacked, 2 weeks ago. So We don't know what's happening, but pay attention to the fact that the radioactive waste storage facility was hacked. So that's a big deal because if they want to do some harm to folks or release some stuff and do harm to folks, they can do that. Um, So it says 2,500 instances of move it transfer exposed to the public as of May 31st, the majority of which look to be in the United States. And so this is why they've been telling us about these infrastructure um, hacks, the possibility of them, because this stuff has been going on. It's been going on for years. It started during the Obama administration. And I don't know if y'all remember, like our tax revenue offices were getting hacked, the state government offices, like very specific information was being collected. And I was like, why would anybody want to hack the Department of Revenue? Um, for what? And there was another office that was hacked in South Carolina. And I was like, why South Carolina of all people? We don't have nothing. Ain't nobody here. But, I had to think too, we have two huge military bases here. We train the Marines in Beaufort and we train the Army in Fort Jackson. Boot camp is here. So, you know, there are a lot of reasons that people choose to hack where they hack or pretend to hack, allegedly hack where they hack. I'm going to say, continue to say allegedly, but understand that they're ready to do something else. They have to do more chaos. And so they're slowly leaking or telegraphing that, they're doing this stuff. And I don't know who there is. I don't look at me to say, oh, I said X, X, X. I don't know. Everybody's blaming everybody, but we don't know, if we're sabotaging ourselves. I'll just say that. So I don't trust none of them. And I'm sticking to it. I don't have a reason to trust any of them. What I do know is they don't like us, and whatever they do is going to harm us. So that's all I care about. And so here you see these hacking incidents began in May, or they say in May. But there's a list of entities that have been hacked. So they got in Minnesota, hackers stole files that included about 95,000 names of students placed in foster care throughout the state. And why would they want that information? Why do you want names of children who are in foster care? Are you planning on stealing them to sacrifice them in Minnesota? Mhm. A lot of those children are Native American because they have a lot of reservations out there. I don't know. Just got my tinfoil hat on here. Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore and its renowned health system were affected by the cybersecurity attack, which impacted sensitive personal and financial information, including names, contact information, and health billing records. There's been a lot of that too. I also think a lot of this hacking is to get this information to put into these global databases. It's just easy to steal it and dump it someplace and then get paid. And somebody's like, "Oh, it's available here in the dark web." And the next thing you know, the organization that makes the owl sound has all of the info that they need for the digital passport. So just don't sound right. So it says UK-based payroll service provider Zealous was a victim of the hack. It exposed details of the staff of several companies, including UK's BBC, pharmacy chain Boots, and airline British Airways. Up to 100,000 employees may have been affected. British communications regulator Ofcom said hackers stole a limited amount of information about certain companies we regulate, some of it confidential, along with personal data of 412 Ofcom employees. So, even when you work for people, you just be minding your own business going to work and your stuff could be hacked and you could be impacted some way. So like there's just no sense in this digitalization. Seems like to me they would be like, oh well, let's go back to paper because it's safer. Let's go back to the old way. Get rid of these computers and do business the way that we used to. Yeah, it might take longer, but it's safer. No, they're just going head first into this. Don't make no sense. Lando Green Parks, a Dutch campsite and recreation company, said the gang had accessed guest data, including names and contact details of about 12,000 people. And then oil giant Shell acknowledged the breach, but said there was no evidence of impact to Shell's core IT systems, and Shell is not communicating with the hackers. The Transport for London warned nearly 13,000 drivers on the ULEZ and congestion charge databases that their data was stolen. In Nova Scotia, a Canadian province, saw the personal data of more than 130,000 people, including social insurance numbers. I don't know what social insurance is. Is that like social security number? I don't know. I don't know. Addresses and banking information stolen from the regional centers for education, the Francophone School Board, water and tax bill accounts with the local municipality, and more. So even local governments are being hacked. So this is why you can't be like, oh, it didn't impact me. We don't know what these folks are doing. And, I'll tell you that story again about the water treatment facility in Florida where the man was sitting there doing his job and watching the at the water treatment plant and watching the dials be changed right before him. Fortunately, he was sitting there and he was able to fix it. But had he not been there or been paying attention, um, people would have been poisoned because what they were doing to the water treatment was setting the dials to put more whatever chemical that they put in the water to treat it. But had it gotten to the general population, it would have poisoned literally everybody who drank the water in the town. And I don't think it was a little place either. It was on the West Coast. It was like Tampa or St. Petersburg, someplace like that, close to CENTCOM, which is Central Command for the Air Force. So if you don't know about these places, y'all really need to be figuring out where these military bases are. And some of these places that have been secret for a very long time. A lot of these places have been hacked. And so if you live close to them, you should know what was happening. But at the end of the day, again, this is just a data point so you can understand what's happening if people are trying to hack the Department of Energy's pet projects and secret locations, places that deal with nuclear energy, radioactive waste, stuff like that. That's a problem. So, we need to be aware that the abomination of desolation is in full effect. If you cannot look around and see that this country is being made uninhabitable for the majority of people, I don't know what to say for you. Also, pay attention to the fact that they're trying to destroy a lot of, I'm not saying there, allegedly, it looks like a lot of stuff is happening in rural places where natural resources are. Land, water, trees, fresh air, wildlife. They don't want you to have nothing because you got to eat them bean burgers and them bug sandwiches bug patties, lab grown meat. They don't want you to hunt. They want your meat to be contaminated. They don't want want you to eat no squirrels and turtles and possums or whatever you might find while you're scavenging the earth. They want you to eat what they want you to eat while they have all the good stuff. So, you got to kind of be forward thinking. You got to really think outside of the box and understand we are in Babylon. We are in the belly of the beast, and there has to be a whole lot of chaos. So, whenever this savior or this false messiah comes to the scene and be like, oh, I got everything, we know what time it is. So, that's the other reason that we have to keep watch about these types of stories. It's not um, necessarily that is true or is false or whatever is happening. It's just a timeline. We have been told that we need to keep watch because we know when our exodus is near, and that's what we're looking for. So all the signs are pointing to it should be close, but in the meantime, you need to continue to prep. You need to continue to pray. You need to continue to seek the Most High and seek to be found worthy to escape what is coming. Repent for sins of commission and sins of omission. And then we need to also try to awaken people because most people are not prepared. We don't have the resources in our homes to withstand weeks and weeks of no food, no clean water, not being able to wash your body because, you can't use the water or, just the food supply is broken down. So there's no way to get things into you or export anything. You have to think about the people who working now, who's supposed to be working in emergency preparedness. When things really get bad, they ain't coming to work to do nothing. They're gonna be worried about their own family. That's for real. So it happens all the time. I can recall in Florida, a lot of times they will tell you, to leave an area, and people will be like, "Oh, I'm not going to leave," either because they really don't have any place to go, they don't want to go to a shelter, or they're just stubborn. But for whatever reason, they'll tell you, well, if it get bad, don't call. You can call 911, but nobody's coming to get you because we have to, be worried about our own families and keep ourselves safe. We'll come and get you afterwards. And now afterwards could be, anytime. But they'll tell you they're not good, fire and rescue, police. They're not coming to get you if something happens. So you have to be prepared to take care of yourselves. If you live close to water, you should have your raft, a canoe, something to keep you afloat. um, Life jackets. Just you just gotta be forward thinking. If you live in a flood zone, you need to be prepared for floods. If you don't know if you live in a flood zone, you need to be looking and try to find out, because a lot of people don't even know that they live in flood zones. They think because they don't live near water, there's no risk of lakes or anything breaching and impacting them. So there's so many different things that you have to worry about. If you live close to a military base, you really need to be paying attention to this hack information, because you could be impacted. You need to be having your iodine pills. You need to be having masks and stuff for radioactive, to prevent radioactive material getting on your skin or in your house. You need to have, plastic so you can put over your windows. Um, Sandbags, a place, have a designated place in your house that you can get away from radioactive material if something happened. So it's just so much stuff that we have to be thinking about. You really have to turn into your own mini emergency preparedness team and just be thinking about, how can I navigate all the things that they're throwing at us. And no, you're gonna miss some stuff because you just are. We are living in times and encountering things that we've never encountered before. But we have to be ready for everything. You need to have you some cash, because if these folks decide they're going to hack banks, you ain't going to be able to go to the ATM and get no money. And when everybody decides to go rush to get it and find out they don't have it, if there are some things that you can do or you need to do, you will have cash in your hand so that you can do those things. So just continue to prep, continue to pray. If you need to have vehicles, have gas. Get gas cans, keep gas in your garage. If you can't keep it at your house, you got somebody else, that has a garage or a place where you can store fuel safely. Get gas cans and ask, I'll buy gas cans, let's share the gas, or whatever you got to do. You're going to have to do some things that you've never done before, and you're going to have to work with people you've never worked with, and you're going to have to get out of this I got it all by myself, I'm independent, because that way of thinking and that line of living is no longer acceptable, not if you want to survive. So just keep in mind that these things are happening. These hacks are going to happen more frequently. They're telling you that they're going to, I don't know who they is, allegedly, them folks, somebody is going to attack our infrastructure, and you see it happening, or at least they're telling us that it is happening as we speak. So we need to be prepared for inconvenience, and we need to be prepared for danger. That's all I got. All right, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. This is Marley K, and I'm out.